Hello and welcome to the Drop a Stitch podcast.
I'm your host, Natalie.
And I'm your other host, Denny.
And today we're going to talk about what we wish we knew before we started knitting and crocheting.
It's going to be a fun one. We actually tried to record this episode last week, but we had technical issues.
Well, we recorded half the episode only to find out that we sounded like robots and couldn't figure out how to fix it, and it was already getting late, so we abandoned the project.
Like it was repeating the
certain words.
Like second words.
Yeah.
It was just so weird.
It was really weird.
And it just didn't happen. Also, if you hear us a little bit better, it's because we have upgraded
Our setup,
yes. We have upgraded. We added one microphone. So now we both have our own. Before we had only one. And it sounded like, like an open room.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Hopefully this sounds a lot better.
Yeah, I think that this is going to sound much, much better. Hopefully. So we're getting there slowly. We're trying to, make
learning as we go.
Make little improvements here and there.
Yep.
So yeah, we're gonna it's gonna be a fun episode, but before, how was your week?
My last 2 weeks, you mean?
Oh yeah, your last 2 weeks. Because
it was good. Work is in full force, and I have not done anything that I wanted to do knitting or crocheting wise, but it's okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my family just left
today.
Today, actually.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, yesterday for the podcast, but today as we record.
Yes.
Yeah, I just dropped them off a few hours ago, and it's just weird not having them. I'm obviously gonna miss them, but I'm very ready to start working and getting everything ready. And now it's like it's
crunch
also
time. Let's go.
Yeah, it's also an stop vacation kind of thing. Now I'm gonna start and coming back, and I have a few patterns that I need to show you. What you see in the blanket already, but
yeah.
I had a bunch of things. I'm very excited to start now, doing everything again. So that, yeah. Okay.
So that
I'm very excited for everything that's to come. And did I already say I can't believe January's gone? Did I say that?
I don't know if you said that because we cut and came back.
It's okay. But I can't believe January's gone.
No, it went by so quick. It was like the first month of the year. We have like, let's start off for a year, and then it just like, boom, blink and it's gone.
I know. I'm like honestly shocked that it's gone. I'm like, it's February, and then it also doesn't help that everywhere you go, it's spring,
Valentine's Day and
everything.
Easter stuff everywhere. Like,
Valentine,
can we calm
it's
down?
okay because it's coming.
Yeah.
But Easter?
Can we calm down?
That's freaking April.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like this is going to be the theme this year. Like, everything's just going to, like, in a blink be over.
I know. And also, I'm in this group, the one that you recommended, the Buy Nothing thing. And people are like, spring cleaning. I'm like, it is not.
It's January.
I know.
People need to calm down. I can't follow.
I'm like, it is not spring yet. We can't do this yet. Please. Let's just calm down a little bit.
Says the girl who right before the podcast was like, this week I'm going to clean my entire basement.
Whoa. Because I need just a clean space to work, and, whenever you clean, whenever you have everything perfect, it motivates you to do more.
I'm the same way.
Right? If I have everything, clutter and things everywhere, I can't function. Like,
your brain is cluttered. You have to like clear it out.
I know.
So
and I'm just looking everywhere, and there's things everywhere, and I just can't concentrate. Yeah, I can't.
Well, get cleaning, girl.
I will. I'm gonna. In fact, I'm gonna start tomorrow, and I know it's gonna feel so good having my desk clean, and I need to start, making reels and all the things that the algorithm wants
you to do.
Yeah, I know. It's but I like it. up to a certain point. Did you see the news? I mean, not the news. It's not like social media news. No. I seen an article. Wasn't an article? Whatever. I seen it somewhere. They were saying that Instagram, it's not regretting being like TikTok, but it's coming back to pictures.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so
that would be wonderful.
Oh, for sure. Now in 2023, they want to come back to pictures, make pictures or the post, whatever, be just as effective as reels to grow.
That's perfect, because I think I've done one reel in my
Yeah.
entire life. I'm like, I'm just going to stick with pictures. Listen, where I live right now, there's not a lot of like empty walls that I can use to film stuff. There's not a lot of light or windows. So I'm very limited just for pictures. So don't ask me to make reels and clean up my mess. I don't have time for that.
I know. So that was wonderful. I'm like, yes, please, because you can take a nice picture and now you can schedule posts.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so you can. I don't know if that's just reels or posts in general.
That's fun.
Yeah, in settings, I think you can do that. Okay. But I'm happy that it's coming back to not the OG Instagram, but
closer,
and not just wanting to be TikTok
yeah.
all the time. Because did you see now? So just continue with this subject. That now it's almost just like TikTok, because you can reply to comments with videos.
Really?
Yes.
No, I did not see that. I don't have TikTok, so I wouldn't know what is similar and what isn't.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So whenever
I refuse to get on TikTok. I already don't have enough time in my life. If I get on TikTok,
just go in there.
It'll be the end.
Oh yeah. No. That's gonna be no. Once you get in there, it's like dude, scroll. You can't stop.
Yeah, which is why I refuse to get the app. I will be the old person that waits till the TikTok make it to the Instagram reel and watch it like.
No, but basically when people comment, you can reply them with videos on TikTok. So now Instagram is doing the same thing.
I don't know that I want to reply to people with a video.
I know, right?
That means I have to put my face.
Well, or
something
whatever,
else. But
something else, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Why are you doing that?
Let's go back to written words and pictures.
Yeah.
Please.
But at least it's coming back, so
hopefully
that's a plus.
Hey, there's hope.
Yep. Okay, so today's episode, did we say what it was?
Yes, I did say what it was at the very beginning.
Mom brain,
things we wished we knew before we started knitting and crocheting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we had it. Do we have it written down for yes? Do we?
Yes, we have it. It's somewhere way in there, but it's somewhere. The first thing is you are going to spend so much money.
Yes.
Of your own volition, not because you have to.
Yeah.
Because self-control is hard and yarn is pretty and soft and beautiful and squishy, and you're going to want all the tools.
We have to say, though, that I just have, deja vus, because we already said this last week when we tried to record it. But it's not just the yarn. It's also the knitting needles, the notions, knitting needles, the crochet hooks, and you're going to start with one, probably the cheapest one, quickly realize that's not the best, start buying.
Try an ergonomic, try a fancy material one.
Yeah.
Buy some stitch markers just because they're cute, even though you have 1,000. Lose 1,000 in the couch, buy more.
Oh, yeah. And then you're going to have, one or two knitting needles, and then you're going to quickly want to buy a set, and everything just adds up.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to. If you really want to, if you want to make hats and just hats, you don't need a gajillion size of needles. But let's be real, once you start, it becomes an addiction. You can't stop. You will want all the things.
But also, who goes into a hobby knowing already what they want?
No one.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. So from the get-go, you're going to buy stuff just because you buy stuff.
It's like no one goes into a hobby knowing, oh, I'm just going to make scarves. That's not going to happen, because, they're going to be like, oh, just do one hat.
No, and you'll quickly realize that even those scarves are the greatest beginner project. They get boring quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, unless it's like a nice pattern that has
Yes.
different stitches.
Which is usually not what you start with, though.
Yeah.
You start with your basic one.
Yeah. The basic knit stitch. But yeah, that's one of the things we wish we knew. We're going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
The next thing we wish we knew before starting knitting or crochet is you will need storage unless you can control yourself, which we know that that's not going to happen.
Very hard to do. It's a
You will
thing
need
between
storage.
knitters and crocheters that the yarn stash is a thing.
Oh, yeah. For
you
sure.
accumulate yarn. I'm going to buy this yarn. It's perfect for this project. And then you never start that project and instead buy yarn for another one and another one and another one. And then this one's on sale, so you can't pass it up. And then this one's just so cute that you must find something to make with it.
Oh,
and then before you know it, you have hundreds of skeins of yarn laying in your basement.
And then you forgot what you got that one for. You're like, why did I buy this one?
Or you're at the store and you're like, I don't think I have any more of this. Let me get another. And then you get home and you're like, oh, I had 3.
Oh, yeah. That happened to me.
Yes.
It's so annoying. Every time I'm like, I need to buy this color. And then I'm like, damn it, I had it already. Whatever. I'm going to use it regardless.
Yeah, we all do it.
The thing that we were saying before as well is that it's also going to vary if this is just your hobby,
Yes.
or if you are like us, that we do market, and I also teach patterns and stuff like that, so I need to have options. I need to have a big stash, so you are gonna need a lot of storage, not just for your yarn, but also if you do markets, to keep everything, all your stock. Especially if it's not your first market.
And your market, like accessories and props and everything else. It takes up room.
Oh, yeah. Your market setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, and also, if it's not your first market, you're going to have stock from previous years. So you're going to need shelves. You're going to need bins. You're going to need a lot of things to properly store.
Yes. Depending on where you store things, you need to have the proper storage materials so that you can ensure that your knits stay nice and don't get attacked by bugs or stink or humidity or, oh my God, I don't want to imagine.
Yeah. That would be horrible.
Can you imagine the day before market you open your bin and it's like
there's a spider in your pom-pom?
Not just a spider, but mites and what is it? The moths and whatever that eat up the yarn and
gross.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's one thing for sure that you're gonna need, is storage, and that's crazy because only with one project you can have one project bag, and you're like,
I was gonna say project bags. You do not realize how many project bags you
it's
will
ridiculous
need. Because every time you start a project, you want a project bag for it.
Yeah,
and then we all do this.
You're
we all
guilty
have
for this one though. You're so guilty for this one because
oh my God, I have so many.
Every week, you guys, she comes to my house with a different bag and just creates
every
a
week,
new necessity.
But almost. And she's like, "Oh no, where'd you get this one? It's so nice. Now I'm gonna need it.
I need it. Yeah, it's ridiculous." And then you have one project in one of your bags, and then you're like, "No, I'm gonna, maybe use this one now." In my freaking living room, I have at least 4.
Okay, so I moved and I have a massive box filled with my whips that are all in project bags, and I haven't even opened it, and it's been months. Because I'm like, I know what's in there, and no. We all do this. We all have the hype at the beginning of a project where we're just like, oh my God, I can't wait to do this. And then midpoint towards the end, we're like, I'm over this. I want to start casting on this one instead. Yeah. And then it along with its project bag gets forgotten in a corner, and then you start the next project, and so on and so forth until you have 20 or 30 project bags.
I hate that I have one nice project bag with one project inside, and then I just add more.
Yeah, I do that too.
And I add more things
until I get tired, and then I grab a new project bag.
Yeah.
Grab only what I want.
Mm-hmm. Because it's
not
so heavy. You're carrying
Yeah.
a bag that is so
with
heavy.
so much stuff.
I know, because you just keep putting things in it.
Okay, so those baskets that I got, the first ones that you bought,
The ones at Costco?
yes,
Yeah.
I have 3 that are filled with yarn from different projects
Oh my God.
that I just kept adding and adding, and I'm like, okay, it's too heavy. Grab the next one. Bring only my project. The 3 are now sitting at my house,
Oh yeah.
and then I have this bag, and then my other bag.
I couldn't find
And
it,
it-
by the way.
No,
No, she has a very cute, like jacket material bag.
yeah, it looks like those puffer jacket, but it's a
Yes.
bag.
It's freaking cute.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it.
Oh, that's sad. I'll try to find it online and send you the link.
Yes.
Her
you-
eyes are like shimmering. She's like, yes, please.
Can you,
And then she blames me for for bringing project bag when she's like, yes.
Well, and then she comes home and asks me where's my sweater from, and now she wants to buy
Yeah.
more. So
We influence each other.
yeah, not in a very positive way.
I mean, yes,
mean,
for the
yes.
companies, less so for our wallets.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. No, but I really like that bag. But anyways, going back to our points,
Also, if I find the link for real, I'll put it in the description.
please, because everybody needs this bag. It's so cute. Do they have a website? It's Joe
I
Fresh.
think so.
Eh?
Yeah, it's Joe Fresh. I think they have a website, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to look for it.
I went to the just the supermarket and I
Yeah.
couldn't find them. I was like,
I got it before Christmas, and the best
Oh.
part is I didn't even pay for it because it was like if you spend a certain amount, you get a bag free. And my boyfriend was buying shirts, so I got the bag free.
that's amazing. I never stop at the Joe Fresh
I always do.
section
I
of the
always do.
grocery store.
They have good stuff. Apparently the designer of Joe Fresh is like a very famous fashion designer that felt like fashion should be available to everyone and decided to start Joe Fresh.
Oh, that's cool.
At least that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but apparently so. Sometimes they have great deals.
Yeah, they have really cute clothes too.
Yeah.
For kids. I got a few things for Christmas for my daughter and she's so cute. The clothes are
I mean, she's
very
cute no matter
Yeah.
what she wears, but
Yeah. I have to agree with that. Okay, the next point.
Yarn stash. What to buy and what not to buy.
Mhm.
So we talked earlier about how you will want to buy all the yarn, and I guess that's one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I started crocheting, crocheting, because I started crocheting before knitting. Every time I wanted to do a project, I was like, oh, I need this color or this size yarn, and I'm like, I don't have it. I have to run to the store. Like, I quickly bought a crochet hook set and a circular knitting needle set when I started knitting, but it was like I never had the right yarn. And then Michael's was doing these wonderful sales where, like, back then all the yarn was like $3 and it was super cheap. And I was like, this is great. And I was like, I like this color and this color and that color and this color and this kind. And I would just buy one of each. And I was like, no matter what I want to do, I'm going to have yarn. Yep. And then I learned to make sweaters
Yeah.
and blankets and bigger projects. And I never have enough yarn. So guess what? I go to the store and buy more and don't use all the stuff I bought at the beginning.
Nope. You will always have yarn.
Yeah, but like I have yarn from like when I first started knitting
Yeah.
and crocheting.
Yeah, same. I did too. And then you look at it and you're like, why?
Though I do have a few ideas on how to use up some of it this year. So
Yeah. Same.
I'm trying. I'm actively trying to find projects that use up the yarn in a way that I want it like used and not in a, oh, I'm going to do this just to get rid of it and then not like the end product.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, but if you're doing markets, there are.
No, but this is all worsted weight bullshit. Like I'm not.
Yeah, but you can do cozy cups.
Yeah.
Cup cozies.
But I
cozy
mean,
cups,
do you know how
whatever.
much yarn I have? Like, there's no way I can, like, I would make cup cozies until the end of time with this yarn. Like, I'm not kidding. I must have 100 balls of different colors. My temperature blanket,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
leftover yarn balls. And then one color was discontinued, so I ordered online and I panicked and I bought, like, 7 balls because that's all they had. And I used 2 to finish my blanket, so I have
What
5
about
left. and-
coasters? What about a coaster set?
No.
No?
No.
But like the nice one, like a mug rug. Like the ones that I
Yeah,
made.
but you need cotton,
Yeah,
not acrylic.
that's true.
I have a few ideas.
Okay. The next thing we wish we knew was that you're gonna need to know how to read a pattern and to read instructions and the materials and the gauge, all those important things, because it is very, very frustrating whenever you are doing a project and then it doesn't end up how the picture, and then you wonder why.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? You probably didn't use the same crochet hook or yarn, or probably your gauge was off.
Yes.
And that is, as a knitter or crocheter, is very annoying, but also as a designer, you have no idea the number of times that people have said to me, what did I do wrong? This is not an adult hat. This is a kid size. And I'm like, no, this is an adult size.
What yarn did you use?
And my first question is, did you use the same needle size and the same yarn? And they're like, no, I used number 4 worsted. I'm like, you are making a pattern for a super bulky yarn and you're using worsted weight. There's your answer.
Yep. But you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, I'm just making noise.
You don't know what you don't know. That's what's hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, in order to fully be in control of your finished products, you need to know everything, from the yarn fiber to the yarn weight to the like hook or needle size to the gauge to like, you need to understand how all these different things will come together to create a product. But you don't know that until you've explored.
Yeah.
So you will also fail before you succeed. Yeah.
And that's part of the process.
It is part of the process. And that's how you learn valuable lessons. Like, know that yarn lots actually have different dye lots.
I know. I seen a story of somebody the other day actually complaining about the fisherman color on the Lion Brand.
Yeah.
Wool is thick and quick. Remember that I show you in my blanket that I made? It's very yellowish now. It's not that nice cream color.
They must have changed it.
Yeah.
That's
it's very
so annoying.
Yellowish. It's not the same nice cream color. Yeah, it's annoying, but yeah, and also reading a pattern. There's so many abbreviations that knitters and crocheters use. I try my best not to use that many, because I know it can be super annoying for some people to try to know everything and try to remember every single abbreviation. But I also understand, as a designer, it's just quicker. Yeah. Right?
I had seen a tip for people that were starting to knit and crochet, and it was saying to rewrite the pattern without the abbreviation. Like, print it out, have the abbreviation, have the pattern, and then rewrite it like row 1, and then whatever you have to do without any abbreviations, so that at the same time you're kind of processing what you have to do, and then you're writing it in a way that you understand, so then when you're doing it, you're not like, wait, what, I'm not sure, oh, go back, and then you get confused and lost. So that's a tip. Maybe that would help you.
Yeah.
Or anyone else.
Yeah, I tried my best to not use that many, but I understand that it also saves paper whenever you're writing a pattern and you want people to print it. You don't want to, repeat and use these ginormous words, but it's something that at the beginning you're also not going to know right away.
Yeah.
And
you have to find what works for you. Like, for me at the beginning, what was hardest was repeats. It's like row 1 to 4, do this, and then repeat like whatever, how many times. And I was like, how do I know which row I'm on? How do I know? Like, when you just start, you don't know how to read what you've done and be like, okay, the previous row was the knitting row, so this one is a purl. Like, you don't know how to do that. And same thing, like if it says like repeat row 1 to 4 until you reach row 16, like you can write row 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 and then cross them out as you go, or you can have a row counter, or you can use an app on your phone. Like, you kind of have to find the tactics that work for you.
And Also the parentheses or the stars.
Yes.
Because some people use different ones. I used to use stars to repeat from this point to this point. But now I use the brackets.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know. It's
a little bit more visual.
Yeah. Than the stars. Yeah, for sure.
Because you can see where it ends. Whereas the star, sometimes it's a little bit hard to...
Yeah, I like it better, and I understand it better whenever I see a pattern that has the brackets. Yeah. The next point is the drape.
Yes.
So
drape is how the fabric that you create kind of flows. Mm-hmm. Whether it's dense fabric, whether it's, what's the opposite of dense? Like flowy fabric, or whether it's like slinky or like rigid, is very important to how your product is going to look. And that kind of goes back to what yarn you use, what hook, what gauge.
Yeah, and that's, you're not going to know that until you start playing with crochet hooks and yarn, and understanding that yes, your yarn label is going to say and recommend you a crochet hook size or a knitting needle size, but if you want a different look, like Natalie said, if you want your fabric to be more flowy, you know that you have to go up a size. And if you want it, like you said, make amigurumis, let's say, and you want your stitch to be super, super tight, you're not going to use the recommended hook size. You're going to go down
much lower.
So that is something that not everybody knows at the beginning either, and they don't understand why certain project looks, a certain way.
I was working on a sweater last year, and I couldn't get the yarn that they suggested in the pattern because it's from Europe and would have been too complicated to get and too expensive. So I tried to substitute with a yarn, and I match gauged perfectly. But then I was looking at the pictures and looking at my little gauge swatch, and my gauge swatch was stiff. And like I matched gauge, but like the yarn just didn't drape the same way as like the yarn that was specified in the pattern did. So I was looking at the girl wearing the sweater, and it was like tucked in her jeans and like super like flowy. And I was looking at my gauge swatch, and I was like, this is not gonna look the same way.
Yeah.
So I switched for a smaller yarn than recommended in the pattern, but that gave me the same drape, and with which I was able to match gauge, which using the proper size knitting needles. And then I'm like, okay, this looks like a better drape. This looks more like what the photos in the pattern. And that's something like drape is something that you cannot find the information on in the pattern. Like the only way to see drape is to look at pictures. And this is where like hashtags for projects become so valuable, or like Ravelry projects. Because if you find a pattern that you like, try to find other people's that have done it, because it always looks great when a designer makes it with their fancy ass yarn, and it's like super expensive and it looks great, and you're like, okay, cool, I don't have your budget, I want to make it with cheap yarn. What is it going to look like? So finding Ravelry projects, finding the project on a hashtag is so helpful, because then you see people also
from real pictures. Not that the designers aren't real.
No, but
they use the best of the best.
Yes, not as professional pictures. And you see people too that have like a wide range of skill levels, so you can kind of see like, okay, it didn't turn out quite good on this person's picture, and but this person did great. And you can kind of gauge like, okay, was it the yarn, was it the pattern? Maybe it's hard to understand. Like there's one pattern that I worked, and I won't say where it's from, but the instruction made no sense. I had to like correct the instructions because I was looking at the picture and I was looking at the instruction. I'm like, this is not what it's going to look like, and I had to fix it. And I went back on the hashtag and found other people, and I was like, this person knew what she was doing and also fixed the pattern. This person didn't, because it looks like what the pattern says, but not what the picture is supposed to be. And you could really tell the difference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So yeah, finding hashtags and Ravelry projects can be very helpful.
Yeah.
When it comes
I
to
also asked you guys on Instagram to tell us what things you wish you knew before starting knitting and crochet. And I'm gonna read you a few of the ones that I got. So the first one says that clothing isn't as difficult to make as it is
As you think.
as it looked as a new knitter.
That's very true. There's so many clothing patterns that are so simple.
My cardigan.
Your cardigan
Yeah.
is one of them. The flax sweater.
Oh my gosh.
Is the perfect beginner sweater. If
Yeah.
you're looking, it's a free pattern. It comes in multiple sizes, in from newborn to adult to men. It comes in different yarn sizes as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's a flax light, there's the regular flax. So yeah, so that's, and it's the easiest sweater to make. You know how to knit, you know how to purl, you can basically make this sweater. It's not hard to do. And yeah, it seems like it's going to be massive and it's going to be increases and decreases and so many things. But once you actually get started,
Oh yeah.
you're like, really? This was it? Okay.
I know.
I can make sweaters now.
That was the first ever sweater that I made using the flax pattern. I didn't do the thing on the sleeves.
The detail on the sleeve.
details. I didn't do that. I just wanted a simple sweater, and that was the first one that I ever made.
Same.
And I was like, whoa. This was actually easy.
And I made a baby size too. Me too. That's a great tip too. If you're worried and you don't know, start with a baby size. Even if you don't know a baby, donate it after. But the practice you'll get making it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now I know how to do this. Let me make it in a bigger version.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Same. I did a baby size for my niece, and I was like, whoa, this was very, very easy.
Yeah.
Very simple. Okay. The next one is, I wish I knew tension. What tension was.
Tension is a good one. Tension is how tightly or how loosely you knit or crochet. And as you start, it's going to be all wonky. Some stitches are going to be super tight. Some stitches are going to be super loose. But as you get better, you'll figure out kind of your own tension and how you knit and your crochet. And that's great.
Yeah, and how to wrap the yarn around your finger will make your tension.
To help hold your tension.
So then you have an even tension. Even you can have the perfect tension in one row, and then you put your project down, pick it back up after, even if it's 10 minutes later, and you're probably going to have a difference in your tension, especially when you're a beginner.
I noticed it one time I was working on a project, and I started off super relaxed, and then put it down, some things happened. I was super stressed, and I started making it again. And then I realized my tension was much tighter when I was stressed than when I was relaxed doing it. So even just that can play a role in your tension. But generally, as you get better and learn how to do it or have more practice, your tension will become much more even.
Yeah.
And to add to that, you can always steam your project or block it to help even out your tension.
Yes. And also for me too, a big one is knitting in especially knitting, not much in crochet, but knitting when it's in knitting in flat.
Yes.
It's so much different than if I'm knitting in the round.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Because you're knitting, knitting and purling,
Yeah.
versus just knitting in the round.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's crazy.
That brings me to another idea. Things I wish I knew how to properly purl.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know, and a lot of people do this. I was wrapping my yarn around the wrong way on my needles when I first started knitting. And all my pearls were twisted.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until I was making a tank top. And the top portion, which we started with, was worked flat back and forth. And so all my pearls were twisted.
I know.
And then the rest was worked in the round. And I was like, wait, this looks weird. And that's when I realized my pearls are twisted. And you can, there's a lot of people that don't realize that their pearls are twisted. If I still to this day see patterns go by and I'm like, your pearls are twisted.
Yeah.
People, there's something you don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I had followed a video tutorial to figure out how to purl, which showed me the wrong way. So
yeah,
be careful, and worst case, do a flat and then in the round swatch, and you'll see if you're doing it right or not.
Yeah. And also And this happens because I purl, I think, a different way. It's not that there's one specific way to purl. There are a couple, as long as your stitch is not twisted.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because I think I purl different than you do.
Your V needs to be a V, not an X.
Yeah. So because I think I do it different, but
but you don't knit the same way I do either.
I do continental. You do
English. Is that the other one?
English.
I never know which is which.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you said, as long as your stitch is not twisted, then you're good. Just make sure it's not twisted. We have another one here. Somebody said the different yarn weights. I was so lost at first.
Yes, we actually did an episode on this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go back and listen to episode 4, we talk about how to read yarn labels and how each of the different items written on the yarn label can help affect your project or create the effect that you want. So we kind of explain a little bit more about yarn weights in that episode.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else said that not one size hook is one size fits all.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And that not just for any project, but if you're reading patterns too, that's what was happening. Like I was saying with my videos, and people were saying, it didn't end up how it should, or whatever. It's not an adult size.
Yeah.
And they were using,
smaller
everything.
Yeah, you have to pay attention. Like, I think yarn weight and hooker needle size are the two most important thing. If you don't know nothing else, at least look at those in the pattern and start with that. You'll be as close as you can be from the proper end result if you at least have those two.
Yeah.
Proper.
Somebody else says that starting over 2 to 3 times to get the pattern right was part of the process.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Whether it's a pattern that you're following and you're learning a new technique as you go, or it's a pattern that you're designing yourself and you think you have it all figured out, and then you start it up and you're like, nope, I don't like how this looks. Let me frog it and start over again.
Yeah, that's also part of the process. Like this person was saying, you have to be okay with, frogging the entire project and starting over, even if you have done half of a blanket and then you're like, no, I don't think that's gonna work. Sometimes happens that you're almost done with that project and you're like, no. That happened to me with the cardigan, the Weird Knitters cardigan.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I finished that cardigan and I don't like how it looks because I didn't do the arms properly, and now I have basically a cardigan that I can't use unless I fix it.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I know that if I fix it, it's gonna be good, but
fix it, girl.
I know I should, because it's the expensive yarn.
It's so nice too.
I know. And people were saying too, the same thing we said at the beginning, that I would develop a yarn addiction.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
I think that's the thing that sneaks up on you, because you hear about it and you're like, oh no, I can control myself. You cannot.
Yeah.
You keep finding new yarns, new things, and then it evolves. I started with just yarn and hooks and needles and a few notions, and now I make my own pom-poms. So I have fur and I have stuffing and I have all these things, and now I do market, so I have all my market prep stuff, all my stock, all my
the setup, and
and then I want to make these, so I'm gonna get all the yarn I need for it, because it's stock for the market. So it adds up way quicker than you realize.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the last one that I have, it's one somebody said, to buy an interchangeable needle set way earlier.
Oh my God, yes. Please do that. Do yourself a favor. For crochet hooks, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Unless you really find the kind that you like and then want them all. But for knitting needles, do yourself a favor. If you think you're going to start knitting and do it seriously, and like the best example I can give is my mother-in-law. I taught her how to do dishcloths, like very simple pattern. She's made 3 so far, and she's like, this is fun. And she's like, so what were you saying I should get? I'm like, circular knitting needle set. Like, she tried with the straight needles. They were too long. I gave her some shorter ones. She liked them. And then she tried my circulars, and she was like, this is fun. I'm like, you need the like interchangeable one.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just the one you buy one off. You will be able to do everything.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like a big investment, and they don't all have to be. Like, I got the Knit Picks nickel set.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I don't know how much it is now, but I paid like $80 for it, which is very cheap for an interchangeable circular knitting set. Like, some of them are $250.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like, you don't need the fanciest one. Just start with one so that you can do all your projects.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So those were all the things we wish we knew before starting knitting in crochet. So if you're a beginner, I hope this episode was helpful for you
and didn't scare you off.
Yeah, no, you know, these are things that
just don't tell your partner you're going to need all the storage and you're going to spend all the money and you're going to want all the yarn. Just don't tell them that yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I'm glad that we're back now.
Yes, we have a new setup, so we'll be back next week for sure.
For sure.
No technical difficulties here, at least let's hope so. Let's knock on wood.
Yeah, and I hope it sounds better. We were listening to our own podcast and we realized that we sounded a little funny, but I mean, not funny, just
uneven.
Yeah.
Not as close to the microphone as we should be.
Yeah, because we only had one, but I hope that now the sound quality is better. So please let us know if you can hear the difference, if you like this better. And if you have any suggestions, please leave them down below if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please rate us 5 stars because that helps a lot.
Have a great week.
Have a great rest of your week, everyone. And we'll
talk to you next week.
Yeah, talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.